Welcome to another C1 Advanced ESL-lounge reading lesson video. Today we will be reading 4 young journalists defending their generation and their arguments against common criticisms they face. Let's begin with some vocabulary. Apathetic. Showing or feeling no interest, enthusiasm or concern. Caricature. An exaggerated description of someone's main features. Coddling. Treating someone in an indulgent or overprotective way. Derided. Expressed contempt for, ridiculed. Disengaged. Emotionally detached, not involved in something. Entitled. Believing oneself to be inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. Graft. Hard work. Hierarchy. A system in which members of an organization or society are ranked according to relative status or authority. Homogeneous. Of the same kind, alike. Navel-gazing. Self-indulgent or excessive contemplation of oneself or a single issue. Precarity. The state of being uncertain, insecurity. Tenure. The holding of an office, the length of time someone has held a job. Great. Now you know the key words. Let's read the texts. You are going to read 4 perspectives from young journalists defending their generation. Read them carefully to understand each journalist's argument and tone. Afterwards, you will answer 10 questions to check your interpretation of each perspective. Okay, let's start with text A. Priya Kapoor. The accusation that my generation lacks resilience is, frankly, tiresome, and demonstrates a profound lack of understanding. We are constantly derided for prioritizing mental health, as if it were a frivolous indulgence rather than a necessary condition for a functional life. This so-called coddling is in fact a rational response to inheriting a world of unprecedented precarity in terms of career stability and housing security. We did not invent this insecurity, we are simply the first generation forced to navigate it without the safety nets our parents took for granted. Our open discussion of anxiety is not a sign of weakness, but a vital coping mechanism and a form of collective support. Previous generations may have endured their struggles in stoic silence, but that silence often concealed immense suffering. We are choosing to break that cycle. What others call fragility is, in reality, a courageous and pragmatic adaptation to a far harsher economic landscape. My grandfather, for example, bought his first house at 24. For us, that is an almost laughable fantasy. End of text A. Let's continue. Leo Smitherson. Perhaps the most persistent caricature of my generation is that we are entitled and unwilling to pay our dues in the workplace. The narrative goes that we expect rapid promotion and constant praise without putting in the hard graft. This completely misinterprets our attitude. We are not lazy. We are profoundly impatient with inefficiency and pointless, rigid hierarchies that serve no functional purpose. We grew up with technology that provides instant access to information and rewards efficiency, so why would we tolerate an office culture built on outdated analog principles? When we question why a task needs to be done a certain way, it is not an act of rebellion, but a genuine search for a better, smarter method. We are not demanding unearned rewards, but rather an environment where merit and good ideas are valued over mere tenure. Our desire is for impact, not just a slow, predictable climb up a ladder that seems increasingly unstable. End of text B. Let's continue. Sophia Dingle. We are often portrayed as being politically apathetic, supposedly more interested in our social media feeds than in the state of the world. This could not be further from the truth. The reality is that our political engagement has evolved beyond the traditional, formal structures that previous generations still see as the only valid form of participation. My peers are less likely to join a legacy political party, it is true. Instead, they mobilize online with astonishing speed, build global communities around specific issues like climate change or social justice, and use their consumer power as a form of political protest. This novel activism often proves more agile and effective than traditional methods. This is not apathy. It is a pragmatic shift towards more direct, issue-based forms of activism that feel more effective and authentic to us. We are not disengaged from politics. we have simply lost faith in the old, slow-moving institutions to deliver the urgent change we believe is necessary. End of text C. Let's continue. Jamal Shahid. The charge of being obsessed with identity is frequently used to dismiss my generation's concerns. What our critics fail to grasp is that this focus on identity is not an act of self-indulgent navel-gazing. It is a necessary tool for understanding and navigating a complex, multicultural, and interconnected world. Previous generations could often exist within a more homogeneous cultural bubble, but that is no longer our reality. The luxury of cultural insularity that previous generations enjoyed is simply not available to us in an increasingly interconnected world. Our engagement with diverse identities, be it cultural, ethnic, or personal, is a reflection of the world as it is, not a rejection of some imagined monolithic past. This exploration is what allows us to build more inclusive communities and to challenge outdated prejudices. It is not about creating division, as is often claimed, but about fostering a more nuanced and honest understanding of who we are, both individually and collectively. Okay, time for a few questions to check your understanding. Question 1. Which journalist argues that their generation's perceived weakness is actually a sensible reaction to their circumstances? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is A. Priya Kapoor. The text claims that what others call fragility is in reality a pragmatic adaptation to a far harsher economic landscape, which is a sensible reaction. Question 2. Which journalist claims their generation's approach to work is often misinterpreted as a negative trait? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is B. Leo Smitherson. The text states directly, this completely misinterprets our attitude. Question 3. Which journalist suggests that their generation is finding new, more effective ways to achieve political goals? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. Sophia Dingle. The text says there, novel activism often proves more agile and effective than traditional methods. Question 4. Which journalist believes their generation's focus on self-definition is a vital skill for modern life? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is D. Jamal Shahid. The text argues that the focus on identity is a necessary tool for understanding and navigating a complex, multicultural, and interconnected world. Question 5. Which journalist contrasts their generation's methods of engagement with the more formal systems of the past? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. Sophia Dingle. The text says their political engagement has evolved beyond the traditional, formal structures that previous generations still see as the only valid form of participation. Question 6. Which journalist claims that talking openly about personal difficulties is a constructive strategy? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is A. Priya Kapoor. The text says there, open discussion of anxiety is a vital coping mechanism and a form of collective support. Question 7. Which journalist argues that a desire for efficiency is mistaken for a poor work ethic? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is B. Leo Smitherson. The text contrasts their attitude with the accusation of being lazy, stating, "We are not lazy, we are profoundly impatient with inefficiency." Question 8. Which journalist claims that their generation's behavior is a necessary response to a more diverse world? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is D. Jamal Shahid. The text says their engagement with diverse identities is a reflection of the world as it is, implying it's a necessary response to modern reality. Question 9. Which journalist suggests their generation has a pervasive sense of financial insecurity? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is A. Priya Kapoor. The text says they are the first generation, forced to navigate it without the safety nets our parents took for granted, which points directly to financial insecurity. Question 10. Which journalist suggests their generation feels compelled to create its own mechanisms for change? Pause the video now to think about your answer. The correct answer is C. Sophia Dingle. The text describes their activism as a pragmatic shift towards more direct, issue-based forms, which suggests they are creating their own mechanisms because, as the next sentence explains, they have lost faith in the old ones. Let's quickly summarize the lesson. On this screen, you can review the main points of the text and the key vocabulary. Finally, here are a few discussion questions. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching this ESL Lounge video. Don't forget to subscribe for more lessons, and we'll see you in the next one.